Hi everyone! Welcome to my cooking channel Japanese Food at Home. I'm Chef Reina from Japan. This time, I'm gonna show you how to make Summer Seafood Yakisoba. Yakisoba is one of the most popular street foods at summer festivals in Japan. The dish is normally made by stir-frying noodles with pork and cabbage, then seasoning with a sauce that is similar to okonomiyaki sauce, resulting in the brownish appearance. But for today, I'm going to introduce you to another type, which is called shio-yakisoba. As the name suggests, it's seasoned with salt instead of the sauce, and because of that, the taste is lighter than ordinary yakisoba, so you can enjoy the ingredients' original flavors better. Having said that, shio yakisoba tends to be somewhat bland compared to ordinary yakisoba, and that's where shio-koji comes in. As I mentioned in my previous video on shio-koji, it adds umami to your dishes, and it works great for shio yakisoba as well. In addition to that, I'm gonna build the flavor using a good amount of lemon juice, so the dish will be super refreshing and perfect for summer. Alright then, let's check the ingredients. The yakisoba noodles are pre-cooked, and you can eat them after quickly stir-frying them for a few minutes until they become hot. For your information, the product I chose weighs 270 grams for 2 servings. If your noodles are more or less than that, please adjust the amount of the seasonings as needed. For the seafood, we're going to use sea scallops, squid, and prawns. Frozen products are perfectly fine in this kind of dish. Also, we're going to use asparagus, as it goes well with the seafood and will add some crunch to the final dish. The leek will be used in 2 ways, minced for the sauce and julienne for the topping. I use a Japanese leek, aka naganegi, but other leeks also work. For the ginger, fresh is more flavorful, but you can use a paste product if you wish. Those aromatics will build a great flavor by combining with the lemon and shio-koji. Speaking of shio-koji, I used the homemade one that was introduced in my previous video. If you use store-bought shio-koji, the salt content may be different, so please adjust the amount to taste when you season the noodles. The vegetable oil and water are to stir-fry the ingredients. I'm going to use a neutral oil, but other oils such as olive oil and sesame oil also go well. The chili threads are for the topping, which is optional. So now, let's start by defrosting the seafood. First, make salt water in a Tupperware container. The water should be as salty as seawater, which contains about 3% of salt. By soaking the frozen seafood into the salt water, they will defrost faster, yet the flesh won't become watery. If you have a strainer attachment like this, you can easily drain food. Soak the frozen squid and sea scallops in it. If your prawns are also frozen, please add them together. Put the lid on, then stick it in the fridge for at least 4 hours. Next, we're gonna cut the ingredients. Let's work on the leek first because the julienne leek will be used raw for the topping. So I'd like you to get it done while the utensils are at their cleanest. Here is the leek cut into 6 cm lengths. Make a shallow cut lengthwise for each piece, and open them up to divide the leek into the whitish sheets and the greenish cores. Remove the cores and set aside. As for the sheets, turn them over and lay them flat on the cutting board. Using a sharp knife, slice as thinly as you can, as if you were cutting the same part repeatedly while supporting the blade with your non-dominant hand, just like a stopper. The julienne cutting technique is often used for leeks in Japanese cuisine, and the julienne leek is called shiraganegi, which indicates white hairs. So please do your best to cut your leek thinly like hairs. When you're done, soak the julienne slices in water to remove the harshness. After a while, drain well and put in the fridge until ready to use. Next, let's work on the cores. Cut them into thin strips, then make a quarter turn, and finally chop them. After that, transfer the mince into a cup. Next, grate the ginger and add it to the minced leek. Using a microplane or any other grater, grate it until you have 10 grams including the juice. If you prefer a spicier taste, you may want to have 15 grams. When you grate ginger, you don't necessarily have to peel it as long as it's washed and clean. The texture of the peel won't bother you when grated. And above all, most of the spicy and aromatic components are concentrated just below the peel, so grating without peeling is the best for overall flavor impact. Alright, next, let's prepare the lemon. We're going to use the zest as well as the juice, so please select an unwaxed organic lemon which has never been treated with any post-harvest fungicide. To wash the lemon rind, I usually use dish soap that can be used for fruit and vegetables as well as dishware. When you're going to zest a lemon that has been grown with agrochemicals, rinsing with water is not enough, so please use dish soap. After rubbing the surface with a foaming sponge, rinse it well under running water, then pat dry with a paper towel. Now we're going to squeeze the lemon. But before that, let's do something. Place the lemon on the cutting board and roll it around for a while, pressing down with your hands until it becomes noticeably softer. This helps you easily squeeze the juice. Cut it in half, then squeeze the juice as much as you can. Collect the juice in a cup, passing it through a tea strainer to remove the seeds. As for the peel, we're going to zest it afterwards, so please preserve it until then. Next, add the shio-koji to the lemon juice. Mix well, then set aside. So now, let's prepare the asparagus. In the chef's kitchens, the tips are treated most carefully as they look the most asparagus out of all the parts and are tender and delicious. However, if you lay a spear directly on the cutting board to peel it, the tip can be damaged when rolled because of the curved shape. Therefore, chefs place a small sheet pan or baking tray upside down and lay the asparagus on it, placing the tip beyond the end of the sheet pan. This way, you can keep the tip intact even if you roll curvy asparagus for trimming. As long as your asparagus is not too large, you only need to peel the root end part, which is approximately 1/3 of the length. By the way, do you usually peel the scale leaves off? It is sometimes said that they should be removed as they are tough, but I don't think so when the asparagus is not so large. I only remove the scale leaves from the root end with a knife so that they won't get in the way of peeling. After that, lay the spear and peel the stem end using a peeler as you roll the spear a little at a time. A pro tip here is to stop the peeler a little before the bottom end and move it back, instead of letting it completely go past the bottom end. This way, the peeled skin remains attached to the bottom end and won't be stuck in the peeler, so you can process smoothly. Lastly, snap the end off to remove. Repeat this for the rest of the spears. Next, we're going to cut the spears into bite-sized pieces. To make them look more attractive, I like to cut them diagonally, but if you try to make a diagonal cut for all the spears at a time, the length of each won't be the same. So instead of cutting diagonally while holding the knife perpendicular to the cutting board, lay the blade a little down at an angle and slide it straight forward against the asparagus grain. With this method, you can cut them efficiently and the length of each piece will be almost the same. Alright, next, let's work on the seafood. Drain the sea scallops and squid, then pat them dry with paper towels before laying them in a sheet pan. For the squid, cut into bite-sized pieces if large. I use a flower-shaped product, but the ring type is also fine. As for the prawns, shell them. To shell the tail part without breaking any flesh, snap the tip of the talison, which is the spiky part in the middle of the tail. This tiny air hole makes it easier to pull out the flesh. Please pull it gently and carefully towards the head, while pinching the end of the tail. See? You can shell shrimp and prawn without losing any parts this way. After shelling, let's devein them. The vein, which is actually the intestinal tract, runs along the back just below the surface. If your prawns are headless, the veins are already removed with the heads in most cases. But sometimes they still remain and you will find them sandy or grainy in your mouth, so let's check for the vein just in case. Make a very shallow slit down the back, then check the inside. If you find a blackish substance like this, that's the vein. Wash it off in water and make sure the back is cleaned up. Do the same for the rest. And if you don't find anything that seems to be the vein, that's totally fine. Go ahead and move on to the next step. If your prawns are large, please feel free to cut them into smaller pieces at this point. The seafood is ready to cook, so now let's preheat a frying pan over medium-high heat. Grease the base with 2 teaspoons of oil. When the pan is hot enough that the oil becomes runny and sprays out quickly, arrange the sea scallops and squid in the pan in one layer. If your pan is preheated properly, you hear a sizzling sound like this. When the bottom side is nicely pan-seared, flip it over. If your scallops are so-called sashimi grade, you don't necessarily have to cook them through. Half cooking is the best. To determine the best time to take out the scallops, look at the top carefully. The surface has somewhat puffed up and the cracks have widened slightly, and you feel some springiness when you press the top with your fingertip. All of these are indicators that the scallops has been cooked properly. Remove it from the pan and let it rest right away. The doneness can vary depending on each piece, so please judge them one by one. Then you will be able to enjoy the half-cooked texture, which should be perfectly juicy and tender. After removing all the scallops and squids, pan-sear the prawns. If your pan is large enough to cook all the seafood together, please go ahead and do that. Lay the prawns in the pan, then flip them over halfway through. The sizzling sound is always a great indicator to check for the proper heat level, you know? If it sounds much louder than this, please lower the heat accordingly. Alright, turn off the heat and remove them from the pan, then set aside. Next, we're gonna saute the aromatics. The heat is still off at this point. If some brownish residue is left on the base of the pan, please do not wash it off or wipe it off unless it's charred. This contains the great umami and flavor of the seafood, so let's make use of it for the dish. Add the other 2 teaspoons of oil, followed by the minced leek and grated ginger. Then saute them with the residual heat. The grated ginger burns easily, so this is why you should turn off the heat before adding it to control the temperature. You can see from the sizzling sound that the pan is hot enough, right? Scrape the base of the pan with a spatula to incorporate the seafood umami into the aromatics. When the sizzling sound becomes quiet, turn on the heat again at the medium-low heat. Add the asparagus and stir-fry them briefly. You don't have to cook them through at this point. Next, add the yakisoba noodles, lightly unwinding them with your hand. Then pour in the water. To completely unwind the intertangled noodles, chopsticks work better than a spatula. Please make sure there are no lumps left. After that, add the seafood back to the pan along with the juice if any, followed by the mixture of shio-koji and lemon juice. Toast them together until the seasonings coat the noodles and the seafood evenly. Then it's done. So now let's plate the dish. For today, I'm gonna serve it in a fresh turquoise bowl. Place the noodles in a pile, then arrange the seafood and asparagus nicely. Top with a julienne leek and some chili threads. Then lastly, zest the lemon to sprinkle over. This adds a very refreshing aroma to the dish. Alright, this is how to make Summer Seafood Yakisoba. The acidity of lemon really does a great job, making the dish addictive and satisfying even for those who are a fan of ordinary yakisoba. I hope you will have a go at this recipe during this summer. In the next video, I will show you how to make dorayaki, a Japanese pancake sandwich. To add a summery twist, the filling will be the combination of yogurt cream and mango instead of bean paste. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want to see how it is made. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Have a great day with delicious food. See you next time.